Okay. As I was saying, when it comes to defining relative clauses, who and that can be used for people. That can also be used for things, and which can only be used for things. Um, Never for people, like never ever. You can never say, um, my friends which are from, I don't know, San Vito, blah, blah, blah. No, never. If you want to use a noun for people, then you need to go ahead and use my friends who are from San Vito, or my friend's dad come from San Vito, blah, blah, blah. Okay, then where we use it mostly, as you can imagine, for places when we are giving a reference to a specific place. You can say, for example, um, let me see, let me come up with a new one. Okay, you could say, for example, I went to Heredia where people walk in the middle of the street. I don't know if there's someone from Heredia. I think it was Meli. Not on purpose, Meli. I was just saying it's just like what people always say about people from Heredia. But yeah, I mean, when we use where is because we are giving a reference about a specific place or just about a place. Then when we use whose, is Frank the man whose brother plays for the Lakers. Whose has a very similar meaning to who. I recommend you to go in and look for the difference between one and the other, because there is a slightly difference between one and the other. And it's just through practice and through looking at the difference to understand which is the line when we can use one or use the other. And that's pretty much it in regards to it. Let's move to the important note that we have down there. Okay, so to give important information about a person, place, or thing, use a relative clause, which is a relative pronoun plus subject plus a verb. Something very important in case that you're not familiar with it. Relative pronouns are those who, that, which, where, whose. Those are relative pronouns. For that reason, in that case, it's giving you that clause. A relative clause will be created by using any of these: who, that, which, whose, where, plus a subject plus a verb. Okay. One, use a relative pronoun who or that for people, just what we just already talked about. That and which for things or animals, and where for places. That is more common than which in defining clauses. You cannot omit who, which, that, where in this kind of clause. And then it says who, use whose to mean of who or of which. So as you can say, you can use who, whose for both people or for places. Okay, number three, who, which, and that can be omitted when the verbs in the main clause and the relative clause have a different subject. For example, she's the girl I met on the plane. Okay, do you see? If you have already another subject within the clause, then you can omit them. But if you don't, you cannot. For example, in the first one, Julia is the woman that works in the office with me. Um, if you have it like that and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna remove who or that, and Julia is the woman, the woman works in the office with me. Nope. No, 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 no. That would be completely incorrect, because you need to have another subject there. If you have it, then you can omit it. If you don't have it, you must have it. Like in the last example, this is the new phone which I bought yesterday. In that case, it is inside parentheses because you can omit it. You can say, this is the new phone I bought yesterday, period. You can omit it because you already have another subject. So you can just say, oh, I don't need that or which. But if you don't have a second subject within the clause, you cannot omit it. Any questions up to here, guys?
Sure.
Yes, tell me.
In the first one, we can use whose. The first one, Julia's.
Like Julia is the woman who's, nope. No, no, no,
Why?
no. That's a really good question. Thank you, Catherine. We cannot use it because when we use whose is because we are referring to a specific person or thing. What do I mean? For example, I can say, let me think about a brand new example. Um, okay, just a second. Let me see. Okay, you could say, for example, maybe I like the shoes whose color is pink, for example. So in that case, whose is referring kind of to the shoes directly, but it's creating like this kind of possession, this link directly with it. Or you could say, for example, I have a cousin whose girlfriend works in the bank, for example. So in that case, what happens is that the whose is creating like this link between the clause and the first sentence that makes it very like very unique. When the first one, Julia is the woman who, in that case, I'm not creating any link. I'm just giving you important information that you need, that you require, that you need to finish the sentence and for me to understand. Did I explain myself?
Yes, thank you.
You're most welcome. Any other question, guys?
Teacher,
Yep.
we always use that that with or that who or is the rules specific?
No, as I said a few minutes ago, they could be omitted as long as you have a subject already in place. Let me go ahead and open a new file. Just a second. Okay, maybe, let me see if I can open a new note. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, there it is. For example, okay, let me think about two brand new examples. Okay, for example, in this one, I like the shirt you bought yesterday. So in this case, I do not have it because I have another subject, you. If I didn't have another subject, like to start with the clause, then I would require that. For example, I could say like, let me think about a different one. Um,
Yes, teacher, because the subject is different.
not because it is different, but because there is one. I mean, for example, like in the examples that you have there, like for example, like in the last one, this is the new phone that I bought yesterday. It's the same person speaking. However, the first subject is just the phone. We're talking about the phone. And the second one, I'm using I. But for example, in the first one, um, we'd only have one subject for the clause, and that is the relative pronoun. So if you only have the relative pronoun there, you need to keep it, like you have to. No peer, like no questions asked. If you have a different one, like if you have two, you could have, for example, that in a pronoun. If you have that case, you can choose to keep it or to leave it out. Am I explaining myself? No.
So
No worries, no worries. We can start again. That's the whole point of it. So, but actually, you gave a really good point. Usually, when we have a relative clause, we could have it in two cases. First, it could be that we're referring to the same subject, like in the first one, Julia. Julia's the woman that works in the office, so the whole sentence is referring to Julia. But in the last one, this is the new phone that I bought yesterday. So in this case, those are different subjects. And for that reason, I am embedding or putting there the who is the person that I'm talking about. So when you have that case, let's say you can omit the relative pronoun. But if that is not the case and the subject is the same, you must keep the relative pronoun. For example, let's think about a new example. Okay, this one, my car whose paint is ugly is dirty. So in that case, the whole sentence is about the car. So for that reason, and there is no other subject, we just have my car, which is the first subject, and then whose, which is the relative pronoun. There is no other subject there. For that reason, I cannot leave it out. Like we must keep it there. Like that's it. It's like, for example, when you wanna make, I don't know, what can I say, a milkshake and you have no ice cream. So there is no milkshake without the ice cream, right? Like you must have the milkshake. So this is the case. If you have a relative clause that only has two subjects and one is the main subject and the other one is a relative pronoun, then you cannot change it. You have to keep it there. But if you have one where we could have more than one subject interacting within the same sentence, then you can leave the relative pronoun out. Does it make more sense?
yes, teacher.
Okay, awesome. We're gonna do more practice, so don't worry, because as we know, practice makes perfect, so that could help you out. Okay, guys, any other question before we move into the other type of relative clauses?
Teacher,
Tell me.
and in your example, if we want to put that is incorrect, or we can say that in this form.
Like in the first one, this one?
Yes, it will be incorrect or
No,
is correct.
it's completely correct. As that's why I said you can omit it if you like it like that. If you're like, no, I love it the way that it looks with the that, you can keep it. It's perfect. It's grammatically correct. It's beautiful. It's just that's why we say that's why we put it inside parentheses because you can choose if you want to keep it. Awesome. If you decide that you don't want to have it, you can remove it. And both ways are grammatically correct and are perfectly acceptable.
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome.
Teacher,
And yes, tell me.
me again.
Go
I
on.
don't know if you mentioned, but we can use these relative clauses in the beginning of the sentence.
There are like you mean like at the very beginning?
Yes.
No. Usually we need to give a little bit more of information. For example, like in the first one, my car, look that I'm just adding there just the subject and immediately starting with whose. So you can have them like close after the object, or you can have it after the subject. For example, let me use the same example. Okay, let me Okay, let me think about one where we have it after the object. Just a second. Okay. Sorry, because it looks very long. Okay, so for example, this one. I like living in San Carlos where you can go cycling feeling safe. So in this case, I have a full sentence. I like living in San Carlos. That is just a full sentence already. The object would be San Carlos, right? Where, and then I start here using the relative pronoun where you can go cycling feeling safe. So here I'm using it after the object, let's say kind of at the end. And in the first one, well, not the first one, the second example here, this one, my car whose paint is ugly is dirty. So in this one, the from whose until ugly, this is the relative clause. And then the original sentence is my car is dirty, period. But in the other one, in the third example, let's say this one, I'm saying I have the full sentence first. I like living in San Carlos. And then I start with the relative clause where you can go cycling feeling safe. But something important answering that, like if you wanted to say where you can go cycling feeling safe, I like living in San Carlos, that wouldn't make sense. Because, and that is why, because if you start like that, then the listener is not going to understand what you're referring to. And that's why we need to give a little bit of information first, either just the subject, or you can give the full sentence and then tell the important information. But you need to give them something so then you can like, so they are aware, they can fully understand to what specifically is that you are referring to. Am I making any sense, Catherine?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
You're most welcome. Guys, any other question? Okay, nope. Okay, no worries. If you have questions, of course, we can make any stop for that. And we're gonna do a practice real quick. Okay, let me see if I'm missing something here. No, let's go for the non-defining relative clauses. Okay, what is the difference? I think I already mentioned it, but no worries, we can do it again. What is the difference between the defining and the non-defining relative clauses? The non-defining relative clauses are just extra information. Like if you want to say a little bit more about it, you don't have to, meaning that the listener will understand the meaning of the sentence without them, but you still want to give that extra piece of information. For example, the first one that we have there, this painting, which was painted in 1860s, is worth millions. So the which was painted in 1860s, you could omit that part, and then the listener would actually like understand the sentence, period. But you want to give more information. It's like if you're saying, my mom, who is adorable, bakes delicious banana cakes. So in this case, I just want to mention, like highlight that my mom, that is very adorable, is the one that bakes banana cakes. Do you need to know that my mom is adorable? No, you don't. You just need to know that she bakes banana cakes. So it's just me adding extra information, like wanting you to know more about it, to be more informed about that specific aspect of my life or of the situation. Um, okay, let me think about any example. Okay, I have one here. Okay, this one, for example, English, which is a very useful language, is spoken around the world. Again, this is just me adding extra information. You don't need to know this because you probably it is actually kind of embedded, meaning like hidden within the sentence, because we all know that English is a very useful language, but it's just me wanting to give you more information about it. Something very important, a detail that you cannot omit. You must, like you have to, like no questions about it. You must add a comma before the clause and where the clause ends, because these two commas are going to tell the, or going to show that this type of relative clause is non-defining, meaning that you don't need this information to understand the sentence. Like it's just extra. Like I'm just putting it out there in case that you want to know, or that I don't know, like if you want to just pay attention to my comment on it. But it's not really like that meaningful or that needed to understand the sentence. Questions?
Uh, in these relative clauses, also I use which or that or
Yes.
only which.
Nope. You could use that, you could use which, you could use who. The only thing is that when you use that, that has something that usually does not allow to add a comma before it. Let me double check if they mention it here, because I think, just a second. Yeah, you're right. No, they're not using it here because of the comma. Yeah, it's because that has something that you cannot add a comma before. So the reason why they are not allowing it here is because if you add that, you cannot put a comma before that. Like it's not allowed grammatically speaking. Um, it's just a rule with that. So for that reason, they are saying that you cannot use that, because since you cannot add a comma there, the reader or the speaker would not be able to identify or to distinguish one from the other. So yeah, no, forget what I said. You cannot use that because of it. If you could add a comma before that, then most likely you would. But in this case, they are not allowing it because of it. Because you can have a comma before who and before which, but not before that. And for that reason, they are not letting you use it here. Because since they have to be like kind of having a comma on both streams of the clause. So you will need to limit it to which, where, and who and whose, in case they want to use whose. Any other
Thank
question? You're very welcome. Any other question, guys? I want to take your silence as a no. Okay, so now what I'm going to ask you to do is the following. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and walk around your house and write 5 relative clauses are defining and 5 relative clauses are non-defining with things that you see in your house. Remember, the defining ones are the ones that we need the information to understand, like it's mandatory. And the non-defining ones are just when you want to give extra information, okay? So I'm going to give you 10 minutes to write the 10 sentences. So go ahead and walk around your house, look at things, look at people, I don't know, something, write them, and then be here. It's already 9:14. Be here at, well, 9, sorry, 7, it's because mine is in different numbers. It's 7:14, so be here at 7:24 with your examples. We're going to review some of them to see if you're fully grasping that. You also have a practice here, but we can work on that later, or you can have time for that later. I would rather have you creating your own to see how you're being able, if you're really fully grasping the idea behind relative clauses, so defining and non defining ones. So go for it right now and be back at 7:24. Okay, let's have Ligia. Ligia, can you give us one and one, please?
Bueno, this desk which I work in my virtual class.
This one?
This desk which I work in my virtual classes.
Which I work.
Huh?
What do you mean? I'm not fully understanding like the sentence. This desk, like the desk, the one that you use to type. What is the rest of the sentence?
En el cual yo trabajo en mis clases virtuales.
Oh, that's because you're using the
Which I
incorrect
work
verb.
in my virtual classes.
That is incorrect because you don't work the desk. Like if you say I work the desk, it looks like maybe you are creating a desk, or maybe you are like kind of giving it with, I don't know, like a hammer. In that case, you're not working the desk, you are using the desk to work. So you could say, I don't know, this is the desk which I use for my virtual classes, for example. Or this is the desk that I use for my virtual classes, for example. So that one, the mistake that we had was just the verb. The verb was not well, let's say it was not the right verb when it comes to semantics, because the meaning of the sentence was the one that was being affected.
Pero, profe, digamos, bueno, en español, a ver si me explico. Si yo digo que yo ahí estoy trabajando, estoy preparando la clase,
Pero
no
igual,
puedo decir work.
no, porque lo estás utilizando como main verb. Y dices, this es, digamos, si lo dijeras diferente, tal vez en algún escenario se podría, pero en este caso me está diciendo como this desk which I work. Entonces no, porque no es en el cual trabajo, es en el cual trabajo o el cual uso para trabajar. Porque vos no estás trabajando en el escritorio, vos no estás creando el escritorio, a menos de que me digas que sos ebanista y que lo estás lijando y pintando y echando barniz y todo, that is different. Pero si lo estás utilizando para trabajar, ahí es diferente y ahí es donde tenemos que buscar el verbo que semánticamente hablando encaje en lo que queremos decir. Entonces, por eso mi recomendación era use. Entonces, podría decir como this desk, which I use to work in my virtual classes, por ejemplo. ¿Sí me explico?
Sí, sí, es que en español funciona diferente a como funciona el inglés.
Completely. That's why sometimes I tell you, like, sometimes we can use some bits of Spanish for English, but sometimes, like, if we translate it exactly the same way, it's just gonna give us a headache. Okay, thank you, Ligia. Let's say Gloriana. Gloriana,
The
give us.
second,
Yes, we need the second one. Go to the second one, please.
this dress which my boyfriend gives me is my favorite.
Yes. In that case, the only change I would change, the only thing I would say is which my boyfriend gave me, because you already have it with you. Entonces, like, we can kind of tell that you already got it. Like, he's not giving you the desk right now, but he gave you maybe an hour ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I don't know. So in that case, I would just change it to past because of the meaning of the sentence. But if not, like, maybe we could still use it in present.
Yes.
Thank you. Gloriana, now tell us one and one, please. And after Gloriana, we're gonna go for David. So David, be sure to have yours ready. Go, Gloriana.
Hi.
Hello.
Santa Elena. Uh, Santa Elena is the place where I grew up.
Santa Elena is the place
Is the place
where I grew up. Perfect.
where
Perfect.
my bottle is that is full of water. Is beautiful and big.
Perfect. Perfect as well. Thank you, Lorena. Really good. David, go for yours.
Okay, the hat which was bought in the beach is in front of me.
And the second one?
This is the trophy that I won in the soccer tournament.
Okay. Okay. The second one was the defining one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I can tell because the way that you, I thought, the first I thought it was not, but then I was like, no, it's necessary because we need to know like which trophy it is. It's not like any trophy, but it's the one and where you got it. Perfect, David. Those are great. Marcos, give us one and one, please. And after Marcos, we're going to have Hazel.
Okay, the pictures in my office, which was painted some years ago, and it's so beautiful.
Okay, there is a small grammar mistake over there. Can you read it again to see if it was just me that I heard it wrong, or that if indeed there is a grammar mistake there?
Okay, the picture in my office, which was painted some years ago, it's so beautiful.
Okay, no, it's perfect. It's because I heard the pictures, and I was like, if you say the pictures and then you give me
Sorry.
one, I was like, no, but if you say the picture, then that is perfect. Thank you. And the second one?
And this is the house where I learned how to walk.
Perfect, perfect as well. Thank you, Marcos. Okay, Hazel, go for it.
Hi, teacher.
Hello.
The book which is on table is expensive.
Okay, which is on the table?
Which is on the table.
Because we need to specify specifically where it is, where the book is. In this case, you can say the book which is in my hands or the book which is on the table.
Okay. My neighbor, who is American, is very handsome.
Okay, okay, good. That's a really fun one. Thank you, Hazel. Both were great. Mario, are you there? Now we're gonna start with the spiritual session. Mario, if you're with us, make a noise. Move something. Looks like Mario's not with us at the moment. We might invoke his presence later on. Okay, William, give us one and one, please. And after William, Jessica. So be ready, Jessica, please.
I got a new TV that makes me feel better.
Okay.
And the second one is this microwave, which was bought in March, is the best in the market.
Good. Just super quick, microwave.
Microwave. Okay.
And but it's not both, but like but. Very strong.
Okay.
Can you say it?
But.
Yes, better. Thank you. Jessica, you ready?
Yes. These pants, which I bought last week, are only.
But. Remember, we just said it. No, but.
But.
Okay.
Okay.
Go.
And she is my sister, who is doctor in this hospital.
Sorry, like I think it's my connection that is very unstable. Can you read the example again? I couldn't hear it completely.
Okay. She is my sister, who is doctor in this hospital.
Okay. I would just add something there, and it's just the article a or da. This is my sister who is a doctor or who is the doctor in this hospital. That's the only thing I would add there.
Okay.
To specify, like if it's a doctor, like just one more doctor in the hospital, or maybe there is only one doctor and that's your sister. So that's the only change that I would make, to add either a or a or da, and to kind of give more to make it more grammatically correct, let's say. But the rest was perfect. Thank you. And the other, I know you already gave us both, right?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. Guys, any question or concern in regards to relative clauses? As you can see, they're very simple. It's just a matter of practice, like using them, understanding how they work, understanding the semantic of the verbs, all those small things in practice, of course, practice, practice, practice. For that reason, I wanted to have this extra practice that you could actually go and move around your house and write them. And because you still have the one from the book, so you could do the one from the book later to practice a little bit more. But those were actually great. So I'm very happy to hear that. Okay, Mario, you're ready. Awesome. Go for it. Delight us with your examples, please.
Okay, teacher. The toy which I repaired was the one my nephew broke. And the tools that I use to work at are very valuable for me. That's why I don't let them.
Let them what?
The tools.
No, but let or lend?
Lend them.
Okay, okay, okay. I heard, sorry,
Lend
I heard
them.
let. Maybe just me my age. Sorry, you know,
Excuse
I'm
me.
old. No, no, excuse me. I'm just old. Okay, that was very great. Thank you, Mario. That was really great. Okay, guys, now if you don't have any more questions on relative clauses, both defining and non-defining, we're gonna move to the following topic, which is even easier, and you're gonna laugh at how easy it is, because it's probably one of the easiest topics you're ever gonna find when it comes to English. Okay, so let's go for it. Please go to the following page, which in this case is page 150. No, 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 no. Wait. Sorry, mine is stuck. It's 151, I think. Let me go ahead and open again the book. Yes, it's 151. Now my book is working. This is the easiest topic you're ever gonna find. It's so easy and so useful. And we use it a lot in Spanish, which I think is gonna make it easier even for you. So let me go ahead and share my screen real quick so I can show you exactly in which page I am, just in case. Okay, this topic is called relative. Sorry, I was not already over that topic. This one is called tag questions. What are tag questions? Tag questions are just kind of confirmation questions. So we use them in Spanish all the time. Because, for example, in Spanish, we go ahead and we say, vamos a ir a las películas. No. And that no is just like with a question mark, como diciendo, o no. Like, so that is the type of confirmation that we ask a lot in Spanish. This is the same with tag questions. So we ask them, we say, for example, in the first one that we have over here, it's cold today, isn't it? So it's like we say, like, ¿está frío o no? Or the same as we say, ¿está haciendo frío o soy yo? That is the exact same thing. It's just that in English it has a different format, but that's the exact same use that we use for it. How does it work? Super simple. What you're gonna do is you're gonna have the first sentence, comma, and the second sentence is gonna be in the opposite, how can I say? In the opposite way. For example, if the first sentence is in a positive format, the second one is gonna be in a negative format, because the idea is to create this contrast. Like, we're gonna do this, like, don't we? So let me go ahead and give you, well, we can read these examples and then create our own. You are Peruvian, aren't you? So again, you are Peruvian, we have a full sentence there, comma, and then the one where we're actually testing. They live in Ankara, don't they? The game ends at 8, doesn't it? Your sister worked in the US, didn't she? We've met before, haven't we? You'll be okay, won't you? You'd go on vacations with me, wouldn't you? Something super, super important. It's mandatory that we fully understand the first sentence. And when I say fully understand, it's not just understanding the meaning, is looking at the sentence and being able to tell, oh, this one is simple present. No, this one is present perfect. This one is maybe simple present with be. Why is that important? Because that is going to be the key for the second part. And you'll see that in a second. Okay, a negative verb with affirmative tag. She isn't here today. Is she? You aren't angry, are you? They don't like pizza, do they? Lucy doesn't eat meat, does she? You didn't like the movie, did you? Mike hasn't been to Beijing before, has he? You won't tell anyone, will you? And she wouldn't quit her job, would she? Okay, let's see what it says over here. Sorry, I made it too small. Tag questions, is he, aren't they, do you, did we, etc. are often used to check something you already think is true. Your name's Maria, isn't it? Again, this is just us asking for that confirmation. It's like me saying, you speak English, don't you? To form a tag question, use the correct auxiliary. That's what I was saying. Do, does, be for the present, did for the past, will, want for the future, have or has for perfect tenses, etc. A pronoun, like here, either a they, a negative auxiliary verb if the sentence is affirmative, and an affirmative auxiliary verb if the sentence is negative. So it looks very nice in writing, but let's bring it to our reality. So, okay, let me go ahead and give it a space here. Okay, tag questions. That doesn't look like a G, so I'm sorry, but you understand, which is the important part. Okay, so let's go for it. So again, from those two, from the affirmative statements to the negative one, which one do I think is, let's say, or maybe requires a little bit more of attention? The affirmative ones. Why? Because in the negative ones, it's just too easy, like too easy. En la negativa se la están dando lista. O sea, es solo como que le quiten lo negativo y ya saben cuál es el auxiliar. In the positive ones, we're not giving you the auxiliary. It's where we're going to be asking you to see if you know which is the auxiliary. For example, let me go ahead and give you one in positive. You have eaten here before, comma, haven't you? So in this case, I think it's easier because it is present perfect. And you know that for present perfect, we always use have or has as the auxiliary. So you have eaten here before, and then that is the first sentence, comma, and that's where we introduce the tag, haven't you? Easy. But what if I give you one in simple present where you need to use do or does? She plays video games, comma, something very important. If you stop there and you're like, oh, they're using play, I'm gonna go ahead and use play again in the tag question. She plays video games. Plays she? Nope. If you add something like that, this is like you're gonna get like a gigantic S like this. and a warning sign, and me crying, and like an audio crying and on the floor probably bleeding, because that would be completely inappropriate. Like, no way, never, ever. Because why? We use the auxiliary, and play is not the auxiliary. So you need to look at the first sentence, meaning this one, and say, okay, which is the tense of the sentence? Okay, is what? Simple present. Okay, so since it is simple present, which auxiliary do we use for simple present? Do or does? So we
Doesn't
go, or doesn't.
Doesn't she? For that.
Exactly, perfect. Thank you, David. She plays video games. Doesn't she? And again, something very important. I know we already talked about this, but I know it's super clear, but the tag must be in the opposite form. Meaning, if it was positive, then it has to be in negative. Or if it was negative, then it has to be in positive. Why? Because again, it's a question that you ask for confirmation. Sino para qué, right? You're actually putting it out there because you want to confirm on something. You just want to be sure, like you already know it, but you want to be sure. Okay, let's see. Let me think about another one. No, David, since you're over there, very familiar with the topic, can you give us an example?
Okay. Um, she will be doctor. Won't she?
Just remember it, to add the A. She will be a doctor.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Won't.
She will be a doctor. Won't she?
She will be a doctor, won't she? This is perfect. Why? Because first, we know that the auxiliary is will. It is a positive statement, and then comma, and then the tag is in a negative format. Super simple. I think it doesn't get any easier than this. Let's see, Meli Cubero, can you give us another example? You there, Meli? We're invoking your presence. If you're around, make a sound. Okay, guess Meli's not with us at the moment. Okay, let's see. Marcos, I know you really want to give us an example. So I'm going to give you the chance to go ahead and give us an example. So delight us with your example.
Has seen series in English, hasn't she?
Sorry, can you repeat it again?
She has seen series in English, hasn't she?
Okay, like TV series.
Yes.
Okay. Yep, that is just perfect because the only comment I would add here, and it's just semantically speaking, and that is that when we talk about TV programs or TV series or movies or stuff like that, we usually use watch because watch entails that you're gonna be sitting there like without moving and paying attention to that device for an hour or two more. So that's my only comment. But grammatically speaking, the example is perfect. She has seen TV series. You're giving us a perfect tense, and then you're using the auxiliary to give us a tag question in the opposite form, which in this case, it's a negative one. You could also do it the other way around. She hasn't seen TV series in English, has she? So it's pretty much the same. The only difference is just that you start with the positive and then we have the negative. But if you start with the negative, then the other one will be positive. Pretty much it. Any question or comment, guys? Nope. Super easy, right? It's still, if you have a question, you can ask me at any moment, at any second. Like, that's what I'm here for. But as I said, this is a very, very, very simple topic. So now what we're going to do super quick, we're going to work on the practice, which is here in page 151, just to make sure that you have that over there. So I'm going to give you like 10 minutes to work on that. Oh, I don't know if 10 minutes will be enough. Yeah, I think it could be enough. So go ahead and work on it with the following for the following 10 minutes and let me know if you have any question or concern. I'm gonna be here so you can ask me either through the chat or speaking out loud or any way that works for you. Melly, there you are, and you didn't respond before. How come? How dare you?
Teacher, excuse
Yes,
me?
that there you are, and I was waiting for you to give us examples in regards to relative clauses.
Ah, I wasn't here.
Oh, you were. Oh, that explains everything. Because I was invoking your presence, saying you came up, but just a little bit late. But no worries. I don't need. No worries. I was talking about relative clauses. Were you able to get the explanation on it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, awesome. So we're working on the practice. If you need any help, let me know.
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome. Okay, guys, it's already 7:56. Since I said 10 minutes, at 8:06, we're gonna be checking. Well, we're not gonna be checking. We're gonna be moving on with the following activity. Or in case I have questions, then we can go ahead and answer those questions. So please go ahead and work on it.
Teacher, excuse me, what is the
Tell me.
page?
The page is 151.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. This is the one in my book. Let me go ahead and share the screen in case that it helps you to look at it. Okay, that is the page that we're currently working in, Mario. Did you find it? Did you find it, Mario?
Not yet, teacher, but I am finding.
Okay, you're looking for it. Awesome. Let me know how it goes.
I'm sorry, teacher. And in our book is the page 77.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I don't know why mine is so different from yours. It's supposed to be the same. I don't know if it has something to do with the digital version or something, but thank you, Marcos.
Teacher,
Yes, tell me.
I have a doubt in the second part.
A book.
Doubt,
Doubt.
doubt.
Okay, tell me. Let me go ahead. Let me get there real quick. Just a second. Okay, tell me. With is the one that is giving you a hard time.
Because the police is has. The police have is have.
It's have because police. There are some nouns that they're not considered singular. That they're considered plural, like people.
Okay.
When you say people, you don't say people has, right? You say people have. So police is considered. They have a name. It's not plural nouns. It's like, I think it's collective nouns or something like that that they call them.
They and
Yeah. It should be
haven't
some. Yeah.
haven't they?
I
Is
don't know.
incorrect.
Did you already like that? Did you try that one using the police have arrested someone and the rest? Did you try that one?
Teacher,
Dime.
I use haven't they? It's correct.
There you go.
I use haven't they is incorrect.
Maybe is, again, as I said last time, sometimes it's just the space, maybe it's the way the apostrophe that you're using, it could be several things. But clearing your doubt, if you say, like, grammatically speaking, if you say the police have arrested someone, haven't they, in question mark, then that should give you the correct answer. And if it doesn't, it is correct. I can assure you 1,000% that that is correct. Okay, guys, were you able to finish?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, do you have any question or any doubt in regards to TAC questions? Nope. Awesome. Okay, now what we're gonna do is the following. You know, I am very how can I say in a nice way? Like, very into speaking in a way that doesn't sound robotic. Like, I hate robotic speaking. Like, I think it's boring and nobody likes it. That's my personal take on it. So for that reason, I'm gonna, since it is our last class together, last meeting again, that next Tuesday is final test and then Friday final grade. So pretty much we're not gonna have like a regular class again. So I'm gonna be assigning you different things to read. So, and when I say read, is like really read and then read out loud for the rest of the class. So I will not tell you where exactly you need to go before I create the groups. So let me go ahead and create the groups first. Something very important before I send you into the breakout rooms. You will be in a team, and your team will be the one in charge of deciding how you want to read it. Again, in as a request, as a favor, do not read it like you normally would read it. I mean, like, come on, let's not be so boring. Let's do it differently. Let's add a little bit of seasoning to it. Imagine that this is going to be added to an audiobook, so you really need to read it with passion or sadness or anger, or I don't know, you name it. Like, give me emotion, give me everything. This is last time you're going to read for me, and the last time that you're probably going to see me. So, and the last time I'm going to ask you for this. So go ahead and do it with all your heart and the last bit of energy that you have left in your body. Okay. And if that pep talk is not enough to motivate you to do it like very outstanding, I have no idea what is required. Okay, so again, I'm going to be creating 3 different groups, and each group will be assigned a different reading. And you will be choosing the parts that you're going to be reading and how you're going to be reading them. I'm going to give you time to both read it first, like silently for you, and then with your group as well. And then I'm going to bring you back to the main room so you can actually go ahead and read it for the rest of the class. Okay. So let me go ahead and create the groups first. Okay, just a second. Somebody just left. Who left? David. David just left. Yeah. Okay, just a second.
Teacher, what are we doing?
I'm creating the groups to send you into a breakout room first.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Okay, let me just check here. Okay, yeah. Okay, guys. So the first group it's Hazel, Gloriana, Ligia, and Mario. Guys, you're gonna be in charge of page 95. That is my page. I don't know if it's the same for you, but let me go ahead and share my screen in case that is different. Okay, you should be looking at the screen right now. That is the one that Hazel, Gloriana, Ligia, and Mario are gonna be in charge of. You have 5 different people over there, or 5 different, let's say, small paragraphs. So what you're gonna do is that you're gonna divide them, and you're gonna choose who reads what. Something very important. I know you're 4 and there are 5, meaning that for the 5th paragraph, or for one of them, you're gonna have to choose Either if one person is going to read it, if two people are going to read it, if you're all going to read it together, I really don't know. So you're going to be in charge of that one. Group number 2, which is David, Catherine, and Marcos. Guys, you will be in charge of this one, which is, no. You're going to be in charge of this one, the one that is in page 100 for me. That is called The Case for the Defense by Graham Greene. You're going to be reading this one. David, Catherine, and Marcos, and Jessica, Meli Cubero, and William, you will be the ones in charge of this one, the one that is in page 98. How did Hollywood actress Natalie Wood die? Was she the victim of a crime, or did she die as a result of an unfortunate accident? Okay, so I'm going to be sending you into the breakout rooms right now to read it, to practice it. And again, remember, don't read it as a regular, boring reading. You have to add passion, emotion. This is the last time you're going to be reading for the rest of us. So go ahead and add your all to it. Okay, so I'm going to give you 10 minutes to work on that. And then I'm going to bring you back so you can read it for the rest of us. Okay. So go ahead and let me know if you need any help or if you have any question or concern.
I'm sorry, teacher, I can't hear you.
Thank you for letting me know, Marcos. I've been speaking like for hours and I was muted. Like, how come? How simple. Again, this is for all the age already hitting me. You know, when you get to this age, it just gets more complicated, certain things. Okay, guys, without further ado, let's just start with it because I'm ready to be amazed by your performances because I know this is going to be Broadway excellence. It's going to be Hollywood. Like after this, I should ask for Oscars to be built in gold like the original ones and then sent out to you. So, okay, let's just start with the first group. Okay, guys, you were in charge of the first one that was in page 95, if I'm not wrong. So go, first group, delight us with your performance.
Let's start. Yes. Iniciamos, teacher.
Yes, go for it.
The Macintosh Classic was the personal computer that was made by Apple in 1990. It had a 9-inch monochrome screen and a 4 megabytes memory. It was cheaper than early Apple computers and very easy to use. It was their first commercially successful computer.
Steven Bosniak is an American computer engineer and programmer whose computer designs became the original Apple I and Apple II computers. He and Steve Jobs became friends when they were both working at Hewlett Packard. They started making computers in Jobs' parent garage, and together they found Apple Computers, now Apple Inc., in 1976.
Mona Simpson is Steve Jobs' sister. Jobs was adopted when he was born, but in the 1980s, he found his biological mother, who told him that they had a sister. Mona and Steve meet for the first time in 1986 when he was 26 and he was 30. And they become very close. They keep their relationship as secret for a year until Mona introduced Steve as her brother at the party that she gave to celebrate the publication of the first novel.
Mountain View is the city in the California where the Stephen Jobs grew up. He was born in San Francisco and was adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs. When he was 6 years old, the family moved to the Mountain View, which was becoming a center for electronics. People began to call the area Silicon Valley because silicon is used to manufacture electronic parts. This is the logo that was designed by Jonathan Mack, a Chinese design student from Hong Kong, has a tribute to Stephen Jobs when he died.
The design, which used Jobs' silhouette, incorporate into the bite of a white Apple logo, become a worldwide internet sensation. The teenagers say that Jobs had inspired him to become a designer.
Thank you guys. I really enjoyed it. And I know you a little bit from the time that we have shared together in the class, and I can see that you'd really like push yourself to do it. I'm very proud of you. I loved it. And Ligia, you deserve an Oscar. You did it really, really good. I loved it. Super good, guys. Okay, we're gonna move to the following group. The following group was David, Catherine, and Marcos, if I'm right. And you were in charge of the reading in page 100. In case that you want to follow, guys, you can go to that page. You ready, guys?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
It was the strangest murder trial I have ever attended. They named in the Peckham murder in the headlines, although Northwood Street, where Mr. Parker was found murdered, was not actually in Peckham. The prisoner was a well-built man with bloodshot eyes, an ugly man, one you wouldn't forget in a hurry, and that was an important point. The prosecution intended to call 4 witnesses who hadn't forgotten him and who had seen him hurrying away from the little red house in Norwood Street. At 2 o'clock in the morning, Mr. Salmon, who lived at 15 Norwood Street, had been unable to sleep. She heard a door shut and so she went to the window and saw Adams, the accused, on the steps at the victim's house. He had just come out and he was wearing gloves. Before he moved away, he had looked up at her window.
Henry McDougall, who had been driving home late, nearly ran over Adams at the corner of Northwood Street because he was walking in the middle of the road, looking dazed. And old Mr. Wheeler, who lived next door to Mr. Parker at number 12, and was woken up by a noise and got up and looked out of the window, just as Mr. Salmon had done. So saw Adam's back and as he turned those bloodshot eyes in Lauder Avenue, he had been seen by yet another witness. I understand, the lawyer for the prosecution said, that the defense intends to plead mistaken in the theory. Adam's wife will tell you that he was with her at 2 in the morning on February 14. However, after you have heard the witness for the prosecution and examined carefully the features of the prisoner, I don't think you will be prepared to admit the probability of the mistake. Mr. Salmon was called again. She was the ideal witness. With her slight Scottish accent and her expression of honesty and kindness. There was no malice in her. And so, since for importance, she told them that she had seen in how she had wronged the police station.
And do you see the man here in cart? She looked straight at the big man in the dock, who stared hard at her with his bloodshot eyes, without emotion. Yes, she said, there he is. You are quite certain? She said simple, simply. I couldn't be mistaken, sir. Thank you, Mr. Salmon. The lawyer for the defense Mr. Salmon. Now, Mr. Salmon, you must remember that a man's life may depend on your evidence. I do remember it, sir. Is your eyesight good? I have never had to wear spectacles, sir. You are 55 years old, aren't you? 56, sir. And the man you saw was on the other side of the road. Is that right? Yes, sir, he said. He was. And it was 2 o'clock in the morning. You must have remarkable eyes, Mr. Salmon. No, sir, there was moonlight, and when the man looked up, he had the lamplight on his face, and you have no doubt whatever that the man you saw is the prisoner? None whatever, sir. It isn't a face you can easily forget.
Thank you, guys. It was really good. And we're going to move to the last script of the night, which are going to close with this amazing performance. So go for it, guys. Delight us with it. For the ones that want to follow it, it's in page 98. You can start
Ready.
whenever you're ready.
Yes. Okay. How did Hollywood actress Natalie Wood die? Was she the victim of the crime, or did she die as a result of an unfortunate accident? On the cold and rainy night on November 28, 29, 1921, the beautiful and talented actress Natalie Wood mysteriously fell off her boat, the Splendor, and died. She was found the next morning nearly a mile away, floating in the water with bruises and scratches on her body. More than 30 years later, officials still haven't been able to solve the mystery of Natalie Wood's death. On the boat with Natalie that night were her husband, actor Robert Wagner, and friend, actor Christopher Walken, the captain, Dennis Davern, and a few others.
Police know that Wagner and Walken had an argument early in the evening, but they made up and Walken went to bed. Police also know that Wood and Wagner had an argument. Wood later Wood then went to bed, and when Wagner went to look in her letter, she wasn't in her room. No one heard or saw Natalie fall off the boat. Therefore, there were no witnesses to say whether her death was a murder or an accident. In addition, detectives who were working on the case at the time were not able to find any solid evidence to prove whether Natalie Wood was pushed to her death from the boat. Therefore, her death was officially ruled an accident, meaning there was no murder for police to arrest and put in the jail.
In 2012, a TV news show investigating Natalie Wood's death brought new information to Los Angeles County officials. The TV news show claimed the bruises and scratches on her body were proof that she was indeed the victim of a murder. Officials have reopened the case and are currently conducting interviews. However, none of the people who were on the boat that night have been officially named as a suspect in Natalie's death. Will LA police eventually discover the truth about her death? Only the time will tell.
Perfect, guys. Thank you so much. It was really fun to hear you speak like that. I loved it. I really, really did. Um, and again, as I have said over and over again, I have explained more than once. The reason why I ask you to go to these extremes is because when we're learning a second language, sometimes unconsciously we get into this robotic flat tone, which is like, hi, how are you? I'm doing good, and I'm doing great. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. And then it's very boring. And if you're speaking, if you are going to an interview, if you are giving a speech, whatever you're doing, if you speak like that, no one will pay attention to you. And that's exactly what I want to avoid. And what a better way than adding a little bit of seasoning to the way that you talk. Because as I have said, in Spanish, you don't speak like that. I mean, as we say, if you're gossiping, están en medio chisme, I mean, it's probably the way that you speak is probably the juiciest because you're probably like, "Ey, no sabe lo que pasó." Wait for it because it gets even better. So that's exactly what I want you to get in English, to be able to sound very natural, to have that flow, to have the fluency, that accuracy, all those things that would make your speech really outstanding. And you did a really good job. So I'm really happy with what you did today. I know we're not almost, we're past time, usually on the time that we agree, but this is the thing. We have Jessica, who was not able to present the Shark Tank last time. So we're going to stay a few more minutes, not so many, just a few more minutes to listen to Jessica's project because she really wants to participate into the Shark Tank and go for the money to see if she's going to get the investment in her project. So we're just going to listen to Jessica real quick and then I'm going to let you go and walk away. On the bright side, as I said before, this is the last time you're going to see me. So this is the last time, the last thing I'm going to ask for you. And after that, I have a quick announcement for next week. So believe me, it's going to be worth it. I feel like I'm giving you like the information of a movie or something like a promotion. Okay, Jessica, you ready?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, let me go ahead and allow you to.
I can't.
Please try again. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Okay.
Enable it. Okay, we can see your screen now. Awesome. Go for it.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jessica, and I will talk about my company. My company named Plastic Brick, and I will tell you how the idea was born. Okay. Plastic brick comes from the need to make conscience of the big amount of plastic that are being through every year in a ocean, seas, river. Well, we remember that this used plastic arrived in our ocean, and in the in plastic brick, we thought that with idea, the pollution in the ocean could be reduced and can make and we can make a new use for this plastic. Um, sorry. Okay, I will tell you about us. The Plastic Brick is a one-person company, and we seek through recycling make a change, a positive change of the environment. So we create items based used plastic. This plastic is was thrown in a river, street, in anywhere. For now, the company is in a small facility, but we hope that with this investment, the company could be grow, and we can grow the amount, the product. Okay, the product is basically a brick. It was made of the base of plastic. This product was thought for the construction, for the application in construction. Well, this product is intended as a construction material, because the industry for of the construction is the most polluting worldwide, and with this we can reduce this. But the most problem we want reduced is the extraction of natural raw material, and this as a substitution this. The process for this article, first we recollected the used plastic in the street or anywhere, and taken of our facilities. For now, we are only working with the bottles, because it is most resistant for this material. And well, the other step is when this plastic was, when the plastic are on site, the plastic is washed and sorted by color, by type of plastic, and labels are removed so as not to damage the purity of the material. Then the bottle left to dry for 2 or 4 days, depending of the climate. For example, in the climate like today, you can wait for 3 and 2 days because it's sun. Then when the plastic is dry, you is melted to high temperature until a paste is obtained. This paste is like a gum. Then placed, then the paste is placed in a mold until it cools. This give an advantage because depending of the mold, you can different type of bricks. And then it's ready for reuse the product. About of the cost of elaborate is very cheap because you only need the manufacturer cost, and this is about 500,000 and 700,000 colones for one mode of elaboration, and this is about 7,000 bricks. This is a lot. This is a lot of bricks. If you considering that this is a small company and this is a small facilities. About cost of one brick, this is considering that other similar product like a concrete brick. Um, the concrete brick have a cost uh, around 600 colones, but the plastic brick it can be offered from 400 colones. It's cheaper of other products similar. But this cost depending of the shape and size, but it's cheaper. For the advantage for this product, first is eco-friendly. This is very important in this day. Second is low cost delivery, considering other products similar. The other advantage is like is about plastic, because the plastic lasts centuries until it starts degrading. This is ironical because this is the most advantages of the plastic, but for us is the opposite. And for last one is for building. Proposes it is really resistant. In other countries, there are the building made for with this product, and this is with our idea, because with this investment, we want to export this product in other cities or countries. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Jessica. I think it's a great idea. It's really, really good. And I think it's even pretty. Like, because the first images that you were showing, it was really cool. Like, that wall was like, I want to get that wall in my room, even if it's just painted. So I think it's a great idea. And I really liked it. I had no idea that they were making this type of bricks out of plastic. And I really hope that they get it out there and that it gets really, like, I don't know, like used and commercialized. Um, I'm not gonna give any more comments because I know it's almost 9. So I'm just gonna take a few more seconds of your time to give you the last announcements for tomorrow's class, for next week's class, and then I'll let you go.